Anyway, laduke, hello my relatives. I'm really, really glad that you all came out tonight. What a beautiful, beautiful night. Winter is an interesting time for all of us. It's always a time to reflect, take a little breath. And as I really thought about it, I can't really imagine some greater women to spend an evening with. And so I'm really glad that we can do this tonight. I want to tell you a little story and tell you how a little bit of this event came to be. I have a sister, she passed on, her name was Leslie Walkingock. And some of you might have known her. She lived down here, she was from the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. And she was a really beautiful woman. She was really beautiful, Oneida and Oglala woman. And I used to laugh with her, and I used to dance with her at powwows. And she was a little bit like me, about my size. We'd share clothes, how girls do that, and we talk this, that, talk about everything, And I come to know her, and as I come to know her, I didn't really know her that good at first, and then I finally come to know her. She was in an abusive relationship. And she was, I just, how sometimes when you're in that, then you're not really allowed to talk to your friends. And so she, I didn't know her that well then, and I lived way up north, and I just kind of started to get to know her, and then one day, I started hearing about it, and then one day, she was free. She was free of that relationship, and we started hanging out, and so one day I was asking her, because if you know a little about me, I'm super nosy. So I was like, how'd you know it was time to get out? How'd you decide? What made you do that? How'd you get out of that? Because this thing always interests me, is like how someone changes. Like if you get stuck in something, like what makes you change? And that's what interests me, because that's, such a human quandary. And she said, one day I was up, and she says, I was putting them Indian coat hangers on the wall. That's what she said. She said, sister, I put them nails in the wall. Like she came rented to her, there was a lot of nails in the wall. She says, I was putting those nails in the wall. She said, and I realized I was putting them really high, so that when he slammed my head against the wall, I wouldn't hit a nail. She said, and that's when I said, that's it. That's it. And, she gave me permission to tell this story, and now she's passed on. But I think about that, because I think about who we are in this society, and what is going on. And a lot of you, I don't know if much of you know much about me, but I live on the White Earth Reservation. I direct Honor the Earth, and I worked on a lot of environmental issues my whole life. I'd really like to wake up one day and say, wow, it's great in the environment. It's beautiful, and everything's going to be great for my grandchildren. It'll be super. But I realize I work in these communities, and sometimes I'm facing a giant incinerator, or their water is poisoned, or a big coal mine is going on, and I say, sometimes I wonder, how it is they wake up all of a sudden and say, that's it. No is no. No means no. You cannot poison us. You cannot take our water. You cannot, disturb us, our graves. It cannot disturb our children's future. And I realize that there is this very deep connection that we know between the destruction of our Mother Earth and our own humanity, and our own, ability to be these beautiful people that the Creator intended for us to be. And the question is how you wake up. To me, that is the question, is how you wake up and realize what's going on, and all of a sudden you take your power that you have perhaps given away or have submerged. You take your power back and you say, that's enough. You stop. You stop. Because I have a right to live with dignity. Yeah. So that is something that is always thought about. All these, all this. And our people, with all of our people, and at the same time, I'm a woman. I raise many children, grandchildren, and I face the same issues that we all look at. The question of how you live dignity, how you, as a Native woman in this state, are not treated as a second-class citizen who is invisible. Because that is, in fact, how we are treated. You know, I'm very, very visible sometimes, but a lot of our community is not seen. And you know, it is like you go someplace and you look and you don't see those women. You don't see what is going on. And it is the same way we treat the environment we choose to not see. It's this selective amnesia, or this like, oh, that is something I don't want to think about. And the fact is, and you all know this, is that doesn't work out over the long haul. You know, you cannot ignore things that are there, so present, and pretend that that's just something, you know, that's not it, you know. And so I, you know, wanted to talk about some of these things. I wanted to talk about these things because I'm someone that lives here. You know, I live up north, but I live here too. I see down here. And I want us to be people who are conscious and aware. And at a certain time, you know, we have become, I think in some ways, like my sister Leslie. We have become people who accommodate polluters. We have become people who accommodate things. And we say, you know, I don't know those pipelines, or I don't know that stuff's, you know, I hope that's going to work out. And, you know, but the fact is we're just like my sister Leslie, we're putting the nails higher. And so that's, you know, what I think about. And so I have a couple of great friends and a new friend that I'm invited here tonight. I talked to my friend Miriam, who's over here kind of in the corner. I want to give the wave. I said, Marion, I got this idea. Usually my family says, oh, wow.